I never imagined a simple conversation could turn my whole life upside down. My name is Ethan, I'm 38, and I've been married to Sophia for 11 years. We have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and on the surface, everything seemed perfect. Friends admired our relationship, colleagues complimented how solid our marriage looked, and family always said we were the ideal couple. But appearances can be deceiving. It started with something small, a casual remark, something that in any normal couple would have barely registered. I was scrolling through old photos one evening, laughing at some silly memories from our younger days, when I noticed how confident and playful Sophia used to be. She had this spark back then, flirty, lively, teasing in the cutest ways. And I thought, maybe just for fun, we could bring a little of that back. I suggested jokingly, "Hey, do you remember how you used to flirt with me when we first met? Maybe we could try that again, just a little." Sophia froze. She didn't laugh. She didn't even smile. Her face went rigid, and for a moment, I thought I misread her. But then came the words that hit me like a thunderbolt. "Ethan, that's obsessive. You're obsessed with me." Obsession. The word echoed in my mind, twisting my simple, innocent request into something dangerous, something perverse in her eyes. I tried to explain. "No, it's just..." But she cut me off. "No, I know what I see. You've crossed a line. You're not thinking rationally. You're obsessed." Her tone wasn't harsh, not overtly angry, but it carried a weight that left me speechless. I had never felt so small, so misunderstood. I kept staring at her, trying to find a trace of the Sophia I knew. The woman who would laugh, roll her eyes playfully, tease me back. But she wasn't there. All I saw was judgment, distance, and a sense of accusation that I couldn't shake. That night, I lay awake, thinking about what had just happened. A simple request had become a battle, a statement about my character. Had I really crossed a line? Or had she twisted everything in her mind before even letting me explain? Every small detail of our day replayed in my mind. The way she avoided my eyes, the subtle sighs, the cold distance. Something had shifted, and I didn't know if I could ever get it back. Emma multilingual. The days that followed were even harder. Every interaction with Sophia felt tense, like walking on a floor filled with unseen cracks that could break beneath me at any moment. I tried to go about our daily routine, getting the kids ready, preparing dinner, handling bills, but there was a shadow hanging over everything. Even the smallest comment or gesture seemed to spark suspicion or judgment from her side. One evening I tried again cautiously. "Sophia, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I just wanted to have a little fun like old times." Her eyes narrowed, and she shook her head slowly. "Ethan, you don't get it, do you? You're obsessed. I can't deal with this right now." That was the moment I realized something deeper was happening. This wasn't about flirting or nostalgia, it was about control. The playful, teasing Sophia I remembered had disappeared, replaced by someone who seemed determined to frame every action I took as inappropriate or excessive. I felt trapped in a narrative she was writing, where I was the villain in my own home. I began noticing patterns I had overlooked before. The way she laughed at my comments when friends were around but rolled her eyes when we were alone. The way she dismissed my suggestions with a casual wave of the hand, claiming I was overreacting. Every small attempt I made to reconnect, to bridge the distance, was met with resistance or accusation. I wasn't allowed to express myself without fear of being judged, criticized, or labeled. It came to a head one Saturday afternoon. I had taken the kids to the park while Sophia stayed home, supposedly resting. When I returned, I casually mentioned a funny incident. A playful joke a little flirtatious in nature. Sophia's reaction was instantaneous. Her face twisted with frustration. "Ethan, I can't believe you keep pushing this. You're obsessed. Why can't you just let it go?" I froze. My heart pounded. For the first time in years, I questioned myself. Was I really crossing a line, or had she convinced herself of a story where I was the problem? I realized then that it didn't matter if I was right or wrong. Her version of events was already set, and there was no room for my perspective. That night, I sat in silence, staring at the ceiling. I could feel the distance between us growing, invisible but undeniable. The playful, connected marriage I once knew seemed like a memory from another life. And with every passing day, I felt more like a stranger in my own home, misunderstood, accused, and ironically, obsessed over my own desire for simple, innocent connection. The following week, I decided to take a step back and observe rather than react. I wanted to understand how our life had turned into this constant tension. I watched Sophia carefully, trying to find the woman I had married, but all I saw was a carefully crafted persona that kept me at arm's length. Every word I said, every small attempt to flirt or lighten the mood, was met with suspicion. The more I tried, the more she twisted it, labeling it obsession. One evening, I decided to speak calmly, hoping to reach some understanding. Sophia, I'm not obsessed. I just miss the way we used to laugh together. I miss that connection. She turned away, her back to me. Ethan, it's too late. You can't make me see it your way. You never listen, you never understand. You're obsessed, and that's just who you are now. Her words were like a punch to the gut, not because they were cruel, but because they were absolute. In her mind, there was no room for my feelings, my perspective, or my intentions. I realized then that the fight wasn't about flirting or the past. It was about control, perception, and her ability to rewrite reality to suit her narrative. I spent the next few days in quiet reflection. I thought about everything I had done to nurture our marriage. Every compromise, every effort to connect, every time I tried to bring a smile to her face. And yet here I was accused of obsession for asking a simple, innocent question. I understood then that no amount of explanation or proof would matter. Her story had already been written, and I was cast in the role of the problematic husband. Finally, I made a decision. Not in anger, not as revenge, but in clarity. I would no longer allow myself to be trapped in a narrative that wasn't mine. I would continue to be the father our kids needed, the provider they relied on, but I would protect my own sense of self. I would set boundaries, not as punishment, but as a safeguard against being misrepresented and misunderstood. The next morning, I calmly told Sophia, I respect your perspective, but I will not accept being labeled or controlled. I will act in ways that preserve my dignity and my peace. She rolled her eyes, clearly unimpressed, but for the first time in weeks, I felt a sense of relief. I had reclaimed a part of myself that had been lost in her accusations. I wasn't obsessed. I was simply human, seeking connection, respect, and honesty, the very things that had been missing from our marriage for far too long. And in that moment, I understood. Sometimes love isn't about winning approval, it's about standing firm in the truth of who you are.